Everything that we do is incredibly prudent in terms of cost and time. We don't spend money unless we have to.
There's a special kind of confidence that comes from getting away with something for years. The grin gets wider, the tone gets smoother, the jokes get faster. And somewhere along the way, Ryan Reynolds started believing he was untouchable. He wasn't just the nice guy of Hollywood, he was the brand, the blueprint, the charming little devil who could sell anything by pretending to mock himself while mocking everyone else. But here's the thing about masks. The longer you wear them, the more you forget the ugly truth that lies beneath. I saw this article floating around Reddit, written by Eumonia Dike on Medium, and it's one of those pieces that makes you sit back and go, oh, so this is how the magic trick really works. It's titled, "Ryan Reynolds used a photographer to promote his company, Aviation Gin, for 6 years, and allegedly paid her nothing." Go check it out. I'm linking it in the description because what she uncovered is a masterclass in exploitation disguised as charm. She breaks down the story of Marilyn Starkloff, a photographer who spent 6 years creating content for Reynolds' gin company. Gorgeous, professional quality photos, concept shoots, product styling, seasonal campaigns, all unpaid. The kind of work brands usually drop thousands on, done for free by a young artist who just wanted a shot. And Reynolds? He rewarded her with emojis and Instagram story shoutouts, a few likes from the big man himself, maybe the occasional Aviation Gin t-shirt. Classic influencer economics, attention as currency, validation as paycheck. According to her, it started in 2018 when Aviation Gin reposted one of Marilyn's photos without permission. Then they reached out, promised exposure, and kept promising more. There were hints of paid gigs, suggestions of opportunities, a dangling carrot of someday. She believed them. Who wouldn't? When Ryan Reynolds is sharing your art, it feels like a door opening. Turns out, it was just a window into free labor. What's wild is how calculated it all was. Eumonia connects every dot. Aviation Gin's senior brand manager, Adrian Molina, basically told Marilyn she was talented enough to get hired. He apparently even said he'd personally send her resume to Ryan and his creative partner, George Dewey. Then he never did. But that didn't stop him from using her photos for official campaigns, websites, even merchandise. Meanwhile, Reynolds was out here crafting his marketing genius persona. He allegedly wasn't paying for ads or for digital creatives. He was using people like Marilyn to fill that gap with user-generated content, unpaid engagement, the illusion of community. The guy who preaches authenticity was allegedly quietly running a digital sweatshop powered by flattery and followers. The funniest part, Eumonia points out that this was his strategy all along. Reynolds bragged in interviews that he didn't spend money on digital ads. He called it creative thrift. Everyone else called it clever. But looking at this story, it starts to sound a lot less like innovation and a lot more like exploitation. There's a quote from him where he says, "We don't spend money unless we have to." That was his guiding principle. Make $1 feel like 10. And when that didn't stretch far enough, he'd find someone willing to work for $0. And here's where it gets even darker. This wasn't a random oversight. This was company culture. Molina bragged about social listening, which basically meant lurking on social media to find talented fans who would create brand content for free. He even admitted that Ryan and his partner George were in constant contact about what fans were posting, choosing which ones to amplify. In other words, they were curating unpaid labor like a catalog. Marilyn became their favorite unpaid employee. She shot entire lookbooks for Aviation Gin apparel, holiday campaigns, even brand collaborations. All of it reposted, reframed, and credited to the Aviation's social media team. Not her name, not her invoice, just a faceless line under Reynolds' brand halo. And every time she tried to bring up payment, they dangled another empty promise. A paid opportunity just around the corner, a collab brainstorm that never materialized. It's like they kept her on a leash made of compliments. Meanwhile, Reynolds' empire was booming. He sold Aviation Gin to Diageo for $610 million, half upfront, half dependent on performance. So, the cheaper his marketing stayed, the more that deal benefited him personally. Marilyn's unpaid work wasn't just free advertising, it inflated the brand's valuation. You can almost hear him saying it with that trademark grin. The budget's tight, the optics are great, and the exposure, priceless. At one point, according to Eumonia's reporting, Marilyn created the viral quarantini photo, a mix of Aviation Gin and Emergency, which exploded online in 2020. Everyone was talking about it. Bars started serving it. Reynolds even referenced it on TV, joking about it during an interview with Colbert. But he didn't credit her. Not until fans called him out. By then, the moment had already gone mainstream. He got the glory, she got the scraps. That's the genius of Ryan Reynolds' brand. He sells humility while practicing corporate sleight of hand in a velvet suit. He preaches gratitude while standing on a pile of unpaid creatives. He weaponizes charm the way other people use lawyers. And yet, every move is done with a wink. A little smirk that says, "You'll let me get away with this because I made you laugh." It's Hollywood's favorite trick. The self-aware villain who gets a standing ovation for confessing mid-crime. Eumonia's reporting also mentions that Marilyn eventually asked to be compensated. After 6 years, she sent polite, carefully worded emails asking for a paid collaboration. Aviation Gin responded enthusiastically. "Of course," they said, then ghosted her again. When she finally threatened legal action, they reported one of her old Facebook posts and got it taken down. The irony is almost poetic. After benefiting from her work for years, they allegedly claimed copyright to shut her up. And when she filed her lawsuit, it didn't drag on for months or years like most corporate cases. It was filed, served, and settled in 6 days. That's how fast the check came through once the receipts hit the table. You can almost picture the phone call. "Don't talk, don't tweet, don't breathe, just tell us how much." The way Eumonia lays it out, Reynolds' business model is clear. Use the internet like a mirror, but only from the flattering angles. He built his career off earned media, a fancy term for free hype. But in practice, it's exploitation with better lighting. And that brings us to the real punchline. According to this article, Reynolds didn't just build a gin brand on free labor, he built an entire myth, the everyman mogul. The self-deprecating sweetheart who cares about creators. The guy who says he's just figuring it out while quietly running a multi-million-dollar marketing machine that thrives on unpaid creativity. It's all performance. The charm, the jokes, even the apologies, all carefully rehearsed, perfectly timed, and cynically monetized. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. The problem with professional nice guys is that they always think they're the exception. That charm will cover the cracks, that jokes will drown out the guilt, that silence can be bought with one check after 6 years. But every mask slips eventually. And when it does, what you see underneath isn't a marketing genius. It's a man who learned to profit off pretending to care. Huge credit to Eumonia Dike for the reporting and documentation that pieced this entire story together. Go read her full piece on Medium. It's long, detailed, and devastating in the best way. The link's in the description. Because if Ryan Reynolds built his empire on charm, Eumonia just handed the world the user manual that shows exactly how it works.
That's my